Hey, this is Adam Huxama from ProjectionHub, and in this video I'm just going to share a little bit about our financial projection service. Most of you probably know us for our financial projection templates that maybe you've already purchased. And we, in addition to just selling the templates, many customers actually want us to actually help them fill out their projections. And so that's what this service is. For those of you that have bought one of our templates, we will ask you a number of questions through this form, and then based on those answers, we put together a set of draft projections. And we typically do that within 1 to 2 business days, and then follow up with you to schedule a phone call where we will walk you through those projections and then make any final changes and fill in any details that we may not have from this form. So the point of this form is to get a rough idea of what you're trying to accomplish and not every specific detail of your projections. That's what we figure out on the phone call. So you don't need to spend painstaking time getting every answer down to the penny. We will be able to work with you on getting more precise detail on the call. So I'm going to walk you through the form and kind of what we expect you to fill out in the form. Also keep in mind that we sell dozens and dozens of different templates for all sorts of different business models and industries. And so we have different forms for each template, different questions that we'll ask. So I'm just giving you an example here. This is for a coffee shop template. But if you bought one of the other templates, your questions would obviously be expected to be different, but still all the same kind of general ideas here apply. So we're just going to ask for your contact information so that we can follow up with you. We want to know why you're creating the projections, the purpose of the projections. This just helps us have the right context and understand kind of what things to highlight in the projections. Whether it's for a lender, investor, or for internal planning. We need to know the date that you want the projections to start on. We need to know whether you've started the business already or you are just working towards starting. And based on how you answer this, different questions will show up. Then we're going to ask you about investors. So we've got some default information in here, or just kind of placeholder information really, where to kind of show you what we're looking for. So we'd like to know the investment name, give it a name. Could be, father-in-law's investment, $50,000 on, January 1st. And then you could have investment number 2 here, could be, Uncle Bob's investment, $100,000 on February 1st. So that's kind of what we're looking for here. You can do the same type of thing with loans. You can give us, and this will have pre-filled in information asking for loan amount, interest rate, terms, that sort of thing. But if, let's say, in this example, you don't have any loans or you're not planning to get any loans, you can just put not applicable. Fixed assets, if your business does have any fixed assets like equipment, furniture, buildings, or vehicles, you can enter that information here now. And you can break this down as much as you want. So if you have a lot of equipment and you want to give us a line by line, we've got a coffee roaster and it's $10,000, and we have a cappuccino machine and it's $3,000 or whatever it is. You could put it in line by line, or you could add it all together. It kind of depends on how detailed you want the projections and really what the purpose of the projections are. Customers. So here we just want you to tell us how you're thinking about acquiring customers. And what we're going to do with that information is really build a revenue model for you. And we're going to end up kind of using some of our own assumptions and best practices. And we're going to talk through those with you in our call. Now, if you have a very specific revenue projection that you already know, feel free to type that into this box. But if you don't actually have a great idea of how this should work, that's where we come in. We do this all the time, and so we kind of know some best practice revenue modeling standards that we can start you out with, and then on our call we can kind of tweak that and perfect it for your business. We'd like to know how many times per month you expect your loyal customers to make a repeat purchase. We ask about your menu. This is going to be relevant for a coffee shop or other restaurants, but obviously if you're in-home healthcare business, we're not going to be asking these questions. So again, this is just an example of a questionnaire for one of our templates. We ask about wage rates for employees. If you have hourly employees, how many hours will you be open? We ask some of the key expenses, but you can see we here in this template, we're only asking for rent, insurance cost, and internet and phone cost. These seem to be costs that could vary quite a bit depending on the coffee shop particularly. But there's also a whole bunch of expenses that are probably going to be kind of industry standard. And so rather than ask you 100 different questions in this form, and we're trying to keep it short and simple. And then in our call, we'll ask about, expenses such as your bookkeeping service. So we might have in the template pre-filled in that you're going to pay $200 a month because that's kind of what we've seen as an average for coffee shops. Well, you might already know that you've got someone willing to do it, willing to do your bookkeeping for you for $175 per month. And so on our call, you'll be able to have the opportunity to go in and change that, or we can change that for you. But we're just kind of trying to save you time here to not ask you every possible question in this form. Salaried employees, you can tell us what positions you have, how many of them, and what their salary and when they're hired, because you might not have all of the salary positions on month one when you start. It might be over time, and so you can tell us that kind of in the narrative here, and we'll build that into the model. And then owner draw. If you're going to take an owner draw, you can tell us that here, and kind of how often and how much do you expect, or is it going to be a percentage of profits? That could be built into the model too. So that's the kind of thing you can tell us here. And then this is really just an acknowledgement here that when you submit this form, our team is going to get to work and build a draft of projections for you. And so what we're saying here is that we don't intend to charge your credit card on file until we've had the call and finalized the projections with you. But we know from time to time we'll do the work and we've got to pay our employees, and then all of a sudden client just kind of disappears and we don't hear from you. And so what we're saying here is that if we've completed the draft and we've attempted to schedule a call with you and we're just not hearing anything, after 5 days of attempts, we're going to go ahead and charge that card the $299 fee. So that's what you're acknowledging here, and a signature, and you submit the form, and that is going to get us to work. And so once we receive this form, typically in 1 to 2 business days, we'll be able to complete a draft for you and then schedule that phone call with you to finalize it from there. So that's the deal. If you're not quite ready to fill out the form yet and have some questions for us beforehand, that's perfectly fine. Feel free to email us at support@projectionhub.com or give us a call, and we will be happy to talk you through kind of the process and maybe your unique situation. And I think that's all I have for you. So looking forward to working with you. Thanks.